Hi, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Essence of Success Network. I'm starting a little bit early tonight because last night I missed quite a few people in the chat room for a past life reading. So this is why I did part 3 to give people a chance. Sorry that I did that right. But anyway, to give people a chance to get a past life reading. It was fun last night. I truly enjoyed it. So if you got a reading last night, I'm not going to come back to you tonight. But for any of the people that I miss, yes, I'm going to do past life reading on them. And I'm starting a little bit early because it takes time when I do past life, depending how far they allow me to go back and coming forward. So okay, so anyway, welcome to the Essence of Success Network. I'm your host, Lennis. This is Wednesday. Well, I want to say Wednesday night psychic reading, but it's actually Wednesday night. We're doing part 3, past life readings. Okay, this program is for entertainment purposes only, unless I tell you alleged. Our moderators in the room are Sheha Spirit, Christina Hesley, and Christy. Okay, be sure to subscribe and like. Okay, subscribe and like, and hit the bell. I did some shorts the other night, so some of you may not know about it. Go to the channel and you'll see some shorts. Although last night I noticed some of my shorts were on, and today on the main page, which made me happy. That means we're getting better and better, more people. So that makes it nice. Well, anyway, that is about it. I'm not going through my whole spiel because I'm not doing psychic readings. I'm doing past life readings. So for all those that I missed last night, I'm going to do you tonight, okay? And make sure that you get the opportunity. Because next month I'll be doing everybody's angels. You know, like where do your angels, who are your angels, if it's family or friends or maybe off planet people, who knows, right? That can happen too. Everybody ain't from Earth. Just because you incarnate here don't mean you're from here. Okay. All right, so let's begin, and thank you, everybody. So let's see. First up, Martin Springs. I didn't read you last night. Okay, Martin, how are you doing? I'm going to do my past life. And remember, y'all, you can agree to disagree. This is what the angels, I'm asking God, the angels, miracles, and guides to guide me back. And what do they see that happen in your life that I should tell you about? Now, some things, not all, but I think if it's prevalent to your today life, then that's what they're telling me. Some things that you may be experiencing health-wise or mental or physical. Okay. All right, Martin Springs, let's go. Oh, Martin, you are a very old soul. They're showing me right now about you 2,000 years. Girl, you've been here for a while. I'm seeing 2000. I see the 2 and 000. You've been here a long time on this earth. Girl, you need to be teaching all of us. Okay, wow. 2,000 years ago. That's interesting. Okay, let's see what they're going to show me. You were almost like the beginning of when Earth became a civilization, because before that it wasn't. Okay. All right, God. Angels and guys, show me our past life. Oh, Martin Springs, you were an emperor. And you know where you were an emperor? In Japan. You were an emperor in Japan all the way back to 1200. That was one of your incarnations. They took me that far to 1200. But yeah, you were an emperor. You had a small colony. It wasn't like a whole bunch, like hundreds and hundreds of people, but you had a small colony. But they're saying that you ruled justly. You ruled with justice and fairness. Okay, that's interesting. In the 1600s, you were married, you were a female, um, but you weren't here in the United States, you were in Europe. In the 1600s, you were in Europe. I see Spain. Okay, they're showing me. I see Spain. You were married, very colloquial. Boy, you could speak it good. I don't know if you do today, but you could speak Spanish quite well. You were married and either two, maybe three children. I think you had a miscarriage with one of them. You might have had a miscarriage, but anyway, and you and your husband, believe it or not, were in the antiques. You had a little antique shop. Well, all kind of beautiful things. I can see the window of the shop right now, and like little ornaments and in front of the window where people could see if they want to buy. But yeah, you had an antique shop, and you did okay. You did okay. You didn't get rich, but you were able to have a comfortable lifestyle from that. And you would get people from many destinations that would come in to buy your antique. I don't know where you got them from, Martin, but wow, they were really nice. Very, very nice. Yeah. And I'm seeing like people from different countries would come through to vacation or visit, but they would stop at your antique shop. Okay. You also had antique bottles of perfume. It wasn't perfume in it, but perfume came in those bottles, but somehow you collected uh, quite a few of them, and people bought them. They bought them. Okay, next, y'all. In the 1700s, you came back as a man and you were in clothing design. Boy, you used to design some frilly stuff for for the men. But you were a male designer, and I can see the men dressed with the frilly cuffs and around the neck, the shirts or whatever. Um, you were known, but you weren't like well known, but you were known for some of your designs. It's also when the men wore it looked like tights. I don't want to say socks, but looked like tights, and they had the 2 or 3 inch thick heel. Because I can see the shoes right now. But you were doing okay. People would come to get your ideas or fabrics, different fabrics that you had, and you would design the look. Because I see that in your shop you had different seamstress, a lot of women, but different seamstress. Yeah. Okay. Hmm. Anything else? You came back in the early 1900s. Now they're showing me 1905 and 1910. I don't know. It seems like it was a confusing time for you. And at this time, you were a female, but it was a confusing time. Like something just didn't add up. I see cars. I don't know if cars were invented that soon or some aspect of a vehicle, but I see you with cars. Now they're showing me Canada. Oh, that's where you were at. You were in Canada. Okay. Okay. You were definitely Canadian, born and raised, but something in the early 1900s just didn't click with you. I think you left and came to the States, moved to the United States. And you were from Ontario. You were from the Ontario, you went to the Netherlands, you came right back to Ontario, and then you moved to the States. Yeah. You weren't always real comfortable here too. You had a problem with religion. You had a problem with the racial strife. Um, you were more like a woman that would wanted to be a diplomat. I see it now. Now they're showing me you wanted to be into the government or politics, but just some things didn't add up to you. You kind of backed up from it because you didn't want to get yourself in trouble. It's like people were asking, where did you get that thought? How did you know that? In Canada, you were a little bit more free in your speech, and when you came to the United States, you were restricted. Okay. And during that period, not during the period of 1905, 1910, but by the time the 30s came in, 1930, you had a child, but they're telling me you died in childbirth. The child lived, it was a little girl. She lived, but you died in childbirth. Something about you started hemorrhaging. You were bleeding real bad, and they didn't know how to really take care of that at the time or stop it. I don't know, but that's what happened, is that you were hemorrhaging. But your child lived, your daughter lived. And it looks like your parents raised her. I'm not seeing a man right now, but your parents raised your daughter. Yeah. Okay. Okay, coming up. Anything else? Ooh, no, they stopped like a knife. They just cut me off. So I guess that's all I was supposed to tell you, Martin. Okay, they just cut me off. All right. Well, thank you, Martin. That was interesting. Okay, next up. Okay, Martin, I got you. Hi, Christina. Hi, Christy. Hi, Sheha. Black Diamond, I got you last night. Oh, Angel Lynn. Okay, I didn't get you last night. Hi, Angel Lynn. How you doing? Okay, let's go back. Why am I right now seeing two angels on both sides of you, Angel Lynn? They're struggling for you to understand something, but there's an angel on each side of you. This don't have anything to do with your past life. They're showing me this right now. Something you're not understanding. They're trying to get through to you. Listen to the thoughts in your head, because they're trying to communicate with you right now. Okay. Part of it is mental, part of it is emotional. Okay. All right. Okay, y'all, take me to her past life. World War I or World War II? You were a male, but you were a gunnery. I don't know what that is. Oh, I see you now. You're on a what's that thing, y'all? You can stand up above it and shoot around a tank. Okay, you're a gunnery. I guess I'm maybe not pronouncing it right, on a tank, because I see you on the tank and you're at the top while the other guys are driving it, and you're just watching to see where the enemy is. Okay, so you were definitely in the military. Okay, that was I believe it was World War II. Could have been World War I, but I believe it was World War II, which meant it would have been in the 1940s, somewhere in there. Angel Lynn, you're a young soul. This is why you have a hard time with the challenges in your life. You don't always understand. It's like If you were a baby and somebody was feeding you and they gave you a piece of steak, it was like, you don't give no baby a steak. You give it some Gerbers or something like that. That's too much for you. So you're a young soul and you're overwhelmed with what you're learning or trying to learn and come through. They didn't take me back before World War II. They started me in World War II with you. So that tells me that you're a young soul. So sometimes you are overwhelmed by some things that happen in your life. But I want you to back up and think about, if you were a baby, would you give that to a baby? Would a baby understand that? Because maybe they wouldn't, and you're a young soul. So for things that you want to, happen just like that at a snap of a hand or a clap of a hand, no, it won't, because you're just starting out. You're learning. Okay. All right, Angel Lynn. Thank you. All right, next up, Judy. Hi, Judy G. How you doing? Let's see what's going on. Oh, Judy, you were a pauper. Pauper, Pauper. They're showing me that word, and it's back to the 16th century. You would be hungry. You're malnutrition, and you were asking for help. And why people wouldn't help you, I don't know. I think they kind of look down on you like sometime we do today with the homeless. That's what I'm picturing, is they look down on you, but you were just trying to survive. You wanted a hand up, not a hand out, but a hand up to help you. But this is 16th century. You were a pauper. Now in the 17th century, you were a rich woman, very rich. Today you be considered like somebody like Jeff Bezos' wife or what's his name, Gates' wife, Catherine. That's how you were looked upon in the 17th century. You were quite well off, quite well off. You didn't want to live that pauper life again. So when you came back in the 17th century, you came back not to rule the world now. I don't see you as a queen, but part of your money was from inheritance. I think you came from a rich family, a legacy. And your mother was around, but you came into a lot of money. You were a rich woman, and you lived that, no doubt about it. You lived that lifestyle. In fact, you lived in a castle. They're showing me right now you lived in a castle. So you had all kind of servants and butlers, and yeah, you were very well off. It makes me think of Downton Abbey, the castle, what I'm seeing, and the people that are working for you. Like I said, you were rich. You were well off in the 17th century. Okay, coming up the 18th. The 18th, you were coexisting with a brother. I believe it was 5 children, but for some reason the other 3 died young, and it was just, excuse me, it was just you and your brother left. But you would live together, help one another. You were very close. Eventually, you got married. You left out of that situation and you got married to, excuse me, this man's got a tall hat, a tall black hat. Kind of reminds me of Sherlock Holmes, but he's got a real tall hat. And he was into investigations. That's who you married. I don't think so much he was with the police department, Judy, but he was in an investigation. Maybe he was an early PI, what we call a PI today. Maybe that's what he did back then, but that's who you married. And you two had a couple of children. Now, your brother, he eventually married too, but I don't think his wife bore any kids. So they kind of doted on your children. Yeah, I don't think they ever had children, but they doted on yours, Judy. So yeah, you were doing real good. Like I said, your husband's work was quite fascinating and interesting. Excuse me. Okay, the 19th century. At the age of 3, and I'm trying to see you, I'm seeing like the year 1915, 1916, but the age of 3, you died because you developed some kind of disease. It's not, I almost wanted to say smallpox, but it's not smallpox. You developed that disease. What is that, y'all, when we were going to school as old heads, where you get that shot in your arm and it leave a little scar? Penicillin, no, it wasn't penicillin. Excuse me. I'm trying to think, what was that called? That's what you had. That's what you died of. I can't think of that injection, what that shot was. But anyway, you developed it and they didn't have the cure out at that time. And so bless your little heart, you passed at 3 years old. Now, when you came back, you were interested this time. When you came back, you were interested in health. I don't know if you're a nurse today or nursing assistant or what, but you were interested in health. Like, how could you help or save people or give them a brighter day to know that things are going to get better? I almost see like you're working with cancer patients in hospice. I don't know, but I see that today. But anyway, I think it developed from when you died at 3, that past life. It kind of stayed with you, like, how could I help where nobody else would die, or at least no child would die from a disease that was incurable. Okay, Judy, thank you. By the way, I forgot to give some shout outs. I said Sheha, Christy, Christina, Angel Lynn, I got you, Judy. Deborah, hi, Deborah. Lisa, shout out. Well, I'm glad you're here, Deborah. Sorry you were having a problem. Okay. Oh, you're most welcome, Black Diamond. Okay. Going down. Latoya. Latoya, did I read you? Where'd you go? Oh my God, it jumped. And there's Teresa, TT, Beth, Mr. and Miss Wilhelmina, Mr. Smith. Oh, Latoya, where did you go? Okay, there's Judy G. Deborah, Sheha. Hi, Jessica. Deborah, Christina, Angel Lynn, Black Diamond. Okay, there you are, Latoya. Okay, I don't think I read you last night. Let me. Hi, Mr. Smith. Hi, Miss Wilhelmina. Hi, TT. Okay, Latoya, let me read you. Okay. Well, Latoya, you were a chiropractor in the 1800s. And you know what? You were good. You were ahead of time. You studied the spine and its effect on our muscles and also our organs, but you could crack a back. You could crack a back. You're good. You really studied. Boy, I see years and years. Even though you were a practicing physician, you were still studying. You were always curious about this and that from the spine going out to the body. Oh, you could even help people working with their spine to breathe, to open up their nasal passages, or to be able to breathe more clearly out their mouth. Yeah, you were good. This is in the 1800s. So, like I said, you were way ahead of your time. And they're telling me right now it was 1850. Okay. Hmm. In the 1600s, you were a lady of leisure. Men doted on you. I think it was just who you are and what you were about, but men would dote on you. And you lived in a nice house. And like I said, you had several different gentlemen that would come by to see you. And you were a good woman, but you had that finesse of flirting. You were very good at flirting. Okay. All right. Oh, now I know why in the 1800s you were a practicing chiropractor. In the 1700s, your father died of a back injury. It looks like he fell off of something. Um, Latoya, whatever, it killed him. I don't know if he fell off a horse and buggy or fell off a horse, but it cracked his back or his neck in a certain way that he died. He didn't recover from it, but you realize that it was because of the spine injury. That's why that explains why you became a chiropractor in the 1800s and why you continued to study. Yeah, you were ahead of your time, but it was because of your dad that pushed you to the point that you wanted to know what could you do to help. Okay, 1900, what happened? Um, oh, you didn't come back until where you are now, till you incarnated at this point in time when you came in. So the 1900s, you didn't return, you know. I mean, you did, but it was like way up, like maybe, I don't know, 60s or 70s. Yeah, you waited. You waited to return. Yeah. Okay, Latoya. Thank you. Hi, Mrs. Smith. Hi, Miss Wilhelmina. Hi, TT. Okay, next up, Beth Mulroney. Hi, Beth. Welcome to the show. I'm sure you subscribe because that's the only way you'd have been able to get into the chat room. So subscribe, like, and share. And thank you for being here. Okay, Beth, let's see what's going on. Oh, you led a charge in Civil War. Whoa. They came up really fast. I see you with the gun, musket. Is that what they call it? And you're like, charge. Yeah. You're charging. You were a soldier, definitely a male and a soldier in the Civil War. You kind of like that era. I mean, you lived after the war, but you kind of like that era. It was kind of scientific for you. Something about that particular time was not only about the war, but there was some science behind some things that you wanted to accomplish after the war. I don't know if you became a doctor or a doctor's assistant. Hmm. Now I see that you were working with dead bodies. ME. There you go. You were a medical examiner after that. Oh, okay. Trying to figure out what happened to the person when they died. So I guess that's a scientific part, medical scientific. Okay. All right. I got you. What else for Beth? Beth, I'm seeing Napoleon. Ooh, you used to talk about him. You weren't in his circle, but you used to talk about him. You used to say that little short stub nose midget. Oh my goodness. You used to talk about him bad. I don't think you liked the way he did some things. And so you were very disgusted and disappointed with Napoleon. But like I said, you weren't in his inner circle. You were on the outside, like you were talking to, you were a female, but like you were talking to another girlfriend or something like that. And you were telling how he disgusts me. And you talk about his height and a little short thing. Okay, then, Beth. Let's see what else. I take it you don't like short men. But anyway, going on. Let's see. What else can you show me? In the 1900s, you were held up and robbed. I could see this gentleman stealing your purse, but he put a gun on you, old time gun too, and he took your purse. Oh boy, that really upset you. That made you so angry and so mad, and almost put you to the point you're real leery about your environment, where you went, who you were around, and also trusting people. Very leery. Yeah. You lived to be 28 years old. I don't know, at the beginning of 1910, but you lived to be, yeah, 1910, but you lived to be 28. And you caught tuberculosis. Wow. That's what took you out. Wow. Okay, Beth. You were subjugated to that disease because there was no antidote at that time. Hmm, too bad. Yeah, there was an antidote at that time. Now you're back to make the world a better place. You're trying to understand the misgivings as well as forgiving, okay? But you're trying to understand the world now, like, how does it beat? How does it understand? I would tell you, Beth, to consider studying energy, vibration, and frequencies. Okay. You're an old soul too, but they wouldn't let me go back that far. But you're an old soul. Hundreds of years that you've been here. Hundreds. Okay. All right, Beth. Thank you again and welcome to the show. Oh, Teresa. Hi, Teresa. How you doing? Okay. Let's see what's going on. Oh, Teresa. The very first thing they showed me is you were a slave and you got beat. Oh, you were a female woman and you got beat the hell out of you. And the master made another slave beat you. I mean, he made him do that right in front of the master or head of the house. Oh, you stole some food. Well, gee whiz, really? They didn't call for all that. That's what I said. You stole some food. You were hungry. And the master had this other slave to beat you. That's bullshit. Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry. I know that wasn't nice. But the thinking back in that time, okay, I can't even deal with that. Okay, that was the first thing that came up. You survive, but of course you had stripes and pains. Okay. All right, God, take me back a little bit further. You were once a man, and I'm trying to see what century this was in, but you always wanted your way. You always wanted things your way. Like if it's ain't your way, it's a highway type of thing. Um, okay, now I'm seeing you. You're dressed in the little frilly clothes. Um, you had a little power. You had a little power, Teresa. You were over a few people. It was almost like a butler, but higher than a butler. So I don't know what you would call the next step up from being a butler. Because I see you looking at a dining room table to make sure all the plates and the forks are where they're supposed to be. Enough chairs are there. Like you coordinated. There you go. You coordinated all this. But it was to make sure you had somebody under you, but this was to make sure. So you were like over the kitchen staff, I would say. Yep. You were over the kitchen staff and anything that had to do with food, setting the table, getting ready for any event. You were the head of that. You were the one that made that happen. And it looks like the 17th century by the clothes that you're wearing. I think the 17th century. Okay. In the 18th century, Teresa, you were always mad about something. Um, I think it's how you viewed the world. It just, they're not giving me any dates, but they just said during that time period you were always upset or angry. Like, why is things like this? Why is it like that? Why don't you know? And so, and you were a male. You were a male at that time as well. Now, by the 18th century, you were a female, and you too had a shop, Teresa. Um, no, it's not a shop, it's a store, like a grocery store, a little small grocery store where people could come in and buy penny candy, flour, corn. You did have some fresh vegetables. I see onions and potatoes, um, tomatoes. Yeah, it was a grocery store, but it was a small one. And you and your husband ran it. So you were married at that time. This is this the 18th century? Yeah. Yeah, this is the 1800s. But you did good. You guys didn't get rich from it, but you were very helpful to the community. They appreciated that you had that store and kept certain goods that they could come in and buy. So you made good money. Like I said, you didn't get rich, but that's okay. You survived, and you and your husband were comfortable. Now I see your kids. There's a little girl. She's running around the store. That's your daughter. Your son is much older. He's kind of tall, like your husband. I'd say he's 12, and your daughter is probably 7 or 8, but your son is 12. And he's your husband in the store as far as inventory and putting stuff out, on the shelves or in the bins, the wooden bins. And your daughter, she's just playing. She's just playing. She's just enjoying herself. Yep. She's being a kid. Okay, yeah, that's the 18th century. They're not giving me now they're showing me 1820. They're showing me 1820. Okay. Is there anything for the 19th? You came in this carnation with hope and joy. You came in with the contract to give not only yourself hope, but to give other people hope. You're spiritual. Um, and you're uncanny in some ways, Teresa. You're very uncanny. Um, you told the line sometime, and you wish that some other people would do the same. You know right from wrong, and you shouldn't have to tell them. They should know that as common sense. You know what's right and you know what's wrong. So, and the joy is that you wanted a happy life. You wanted a life filled with joy. It might be some ups and downs, trials and tribulation, but this time, right now, you want a joy in your life, to feel happy about a lot of things, to feel good. So, yeah. All right, Teresa. Thank you. All right. Going down. Okay, T Lynn, I got you last night. How you doing? Measles? No. What's the shot, y'all? You know, we all got it when we were in elementary school. We all had to get the shots. You got to be up in your 60s. But you know, we get the shot in your arm and it would leave a little round scar. What was that? Was that for the measles? Smallpox? Is that what it was? I thought it was something else. Maybe it was for the measles. You might be right, T. Lynn. And Christina, I don't know. Maybe that's what it was with smallpox. I don't know. I just see it. So anyway. Okay. All right. Judy. Hi, T. Lynn. Latoya, I got you. Oh, Carla. Hi, Carla. How you doing? Let me do your reading. I mean, your past life. Ooh. Mm. Carla, you're a young soul. In the 1700, and this is the beginning. I'm seeing 1701, 1702, 1703. You had a band. Merry Men. Okay, like it wasn't a guitar today, but it's something that looked like that, and somebody playing a flute or a horn. But it was a three-piece, and you would go around to entertain at their balls or some events. But yeah, but you had a band. In fact, you were successful. Wish you could have been bigger, but you only trusted these two other people playing with you. So and it was good music. It was high scale. It was good music, but you were definitely requested. Your band. I'm saying a band, but that's not what it was called back then in the 1700s. But you were requested a lot, so good for you. Okay, what else, God? In the 1800s, I haven't got a date yet, but they said they were telling you to hold on. Time is changing. There are shifts going on, something to do with astrology and your spirituality. Wow. Okay, Carla. But it has to do with astrology and spirituality. They're not showing me that you were into astrology. Spiritually, you understood what you could at that time. Um, oh, okay. Now I see you. Carla, you were a nun in the 1800s. You were definitely a devotee, very devoted to God and the church. Um, you don't like people to question your beliefs or your faith. That really pisses you off. Now I'm looking in the 1800s, but you don't because you're devoted to God and you work with the other nuns. I also see y'all helping children, wayward children, children that have ran away, or children that was misused and abused. Your Catholic dialysis, yeah, because you were Catholic, was very helpful to the children. I even see a school now. Now I see a desk with students sitting behind the desk. So yeah, it was good. Yeah. But that's it. You just didn't like people to try and challenge you about your faith and what you believe that God would do for you. So I'm not getting a date. They're just telling me in the 1800s that you lived that life as a nun. Is there anything in the 1900s, God? Oh, you were in and out. You came in and you went right back out. You didn't stay. I don't know. You had a fear. Why were you scared? It was right after you were born, you died. But I'm seeing fear like, I don't know if the doctor slapped your butt or what, but you were like, I'm out. I'm out. Nope. I want to be here. You really gave your mom almost a heart attack because she really wanted you and you were a girl. So she really wanted you, but you're like, no, even as a newborn, you said, nope, I'm out. Okay. Then you came back in the middle 1900, like around the 20s and the 30s. You came back, Carla. That was a short existence, too. But you really wanted a man in your life by your side. You were a female at this time as well, but you really wanted a man in your life. You were seeking, seeking, seeking. But I think, like the song say, everybody plays a fool. You were fooled in a lot of those circumstances. And it looks like you were married 3 different times in the 1900s, in the early 1900s. You were married 3 different times. So, yeah, you just wanted to be loved by a man. And it just didn't seem like it always worked out to your benefit or to your advantage. And so, you divorce, find somebody else, get married, divorce, find somebody else. And that's kind of how it went. But you only had 3 marriages. But I think at the end, you lived by yourself. Just an old lady that lived by herself, didn't want to be bothered anymore. Okay, Carla. They stopped me there. Thank you. Okay, who's next? Judy got you. Aiden. Oh, Aiden. I almost mixed you up last night. There was a guy in here named Adam. I thought Adam, and I thought it was you. I didn't see it clearly. Hi, Aiden. How you doing? Okay. You were a woman 3 different times, Aiden. You were a woman 3 different times. Wow. You go all the way back to the 1500s, and I think it's what? King George, King Henry VIII? I don't know, but it's in that period. So what, 15 or 1600? But you were always a woman, and a woman of means. I'm not saying you were rich, but hey, you didn't have to worry about it. You were all right. You were all right. Um, yeah. Wow. You are kind of an old soul, Aiden, because you've been here for several hundred years, but you're not an old soul where you're 1,000+ years of existence. But right now you're hundreds of years old. Coming forward, they're taking me to the 1700s. So I don't know what happened between 15 and 17, but they're taking me to the 7. I guess maybe I'm not supposed to tell you, but they're taking me to the 1700. You were in the shoes. Wow. Okay, you used to be a shoemaker. Well, all righty then. Yeah. In the 1700, yep, you were a shoemaker. And pretty good at it too. You had a couple assistants that assisted you, of course, in making shoes. And you'd always be looking for different materials, different type of leathers or breathable material when they wore the shoes, excuse me. But yeah, you were a shoemaker. And you know what? You had a good sized shop. I see a wall with shoes on it, but I also see on the other side a counter. And then I see like a partition in the back where you and your fellow workers would make the shoes. So you had a nice size shop and you did okay. You did okay. And in fact, they're telling me now you did better than okay, because they said that was something, and you made female shoes too. But the bulk of your money came from the men for the male shoes you made. But you made some women's shoes too. I don't know. I see that kind of square out heel. It's like it's gushy. I don't know. But it's squared. It's a square heel. And then it's kind of thin coming up. Okay, those were the shoes you made. Oh, all right. Okay, Mr. Shoemaker. What else? Okay, between 1850 and 1910, you were looking for love. And then tell me you were looking for it in all the wrong places. First, you looked for a woman that was young. I'd say she was in her 20s, so she wasn't like a teenager or anything. She was in her 20s, probably between 25 to 28. That didn't work out. Then you got with the woman that was older, because it looks like you were in your 20s at the time. You got with the older woman that was maybe early 30s. That didn't work out. And you thought, well, what am I supposed to do? Just stay with my grandmother all the time? I want a mate in my life. I want a woman. You do get married, Aiden, at the age of 30. You do get married at the age of 30. But it doesn't last long. I'm sorry to say this, but your wife passed. And they're showing me she had some kind of lung disease. And at that time, they didn't have a treatment for that type of lung disease. It wasn't cancer, but something like a blood disorder, something like that, but it affected her lungs. So you were married, it looks like 5 years. You were married, you didn't have any children, but you were married for about 5 years, and the disease just took the best of her, and she passed on. Okay. Anything else? They're telling me that in this time, Aiden, this is why you hold on to love so dearly, because you haven't had the best selection. I'll put it like that, in your past life. And so now in this incarnation, You want somebody that's going to really be there in your corner, totally and unconditionally, now and forever. And that's what you're looking for. The angels and the guides are telling you, be patient. It's coming. But you got to be patient with yourself and be patient with the other person. You haven't met that person yet, but they will arrive in your life and you will succeed in having that love. Okay. Thank you, Aiden. All right. Next. Oops. Did I miss somebody? Oh, yeah. Devi. I'm sorry. I always pronounce your word. You have to tell me the Ebonics way. How do you pronounce your name, Devi? And are you a female or a male? I don't know. Devi. I could be a E. Devi A. Okay. All right. Let's see what happened in your past life. You're always changing your name. Whoa. Whoa. All righty. All right, God. Tell me what's going on with Devi. Whoa. They brought me straight to the 1900s and they said, be yourself. Stop being somebody that you are not. And stop comparing yourself. Wow, this is almost like a reading in a past life reading. They said, stop comparing yourself. In your past life, you seem to be in competition about looks, how your body looked. They're saying you don't need to be in competition. Everybody is who they are. Just be yourself. And stop looking for the worst in people. Oh, I see that in 1800s. Saying stop looking for the worst in people. It's almost like in 1800s you were visiting a psychiatrist, Devi. A social psychiatrist, like how you interact in a social atmosphere. Because you had a tendency to look at the worst instead of looking at the positive. And so they wanted you to change that. You were a good person, but your behavior gave a pause. So your parents, especially your mom, your dad was agreeing too, but especially your mom decided that you should go see this social psychiatrist and try and figure out why you were detached in social environments. Okay. Wow. Okay. Back to the 1900. They're just telling me, don't compare. I'm seeing 1910 right now. Don't compare. Don't be in competition. Just be yourself. People are who they are. Don't be envious. Don't think, well, why is that person all that in a bag of chips? I work hard too. Well, that's them. That ain't you. God bless them. You know, you might be all that in a bag of chips in a different way, in a different situation. So don't worry about the other person. It's not saying it's not for you. That's not your path. That's their path. Okay. Oh, all right, Davy. That was all I got. Thank you. Okay, got you, Carla. Oh, James Given. Hi, James. How are you doing? Okay, let's see what's going on. Oh, James. They're showing me you in the 1800s. You was a hoe. Oh, my God. That is too funny. Yes, you were a female, but you was a hoe. And got paid well. Okay, James? You might have been a female, but look here. You got paid well. You know, you had skills. Ooh, this is in the 1800s, and it's like 1825. 1825 to maybe 1830, because you did it for a few years. But ooh, girlfriend was making money. All right, you was making money. You talk about other women being envious? Heck yeah. Heck yeah. But you had skills. You knew how to work it. Um, they're showing me this white actress right now. That's how you were. What's the one? She said, you ought to come up and see me sometime. She was real, I'd say fast, arrogant. You know who that is, y'all? I can't think of her name. But, she would always flirt with the men like, you should come up and see me. Well, they're showing me her as you, but you're not her. They're just showing me that you made your money and you used your skills and you got paid quite well and you lived well. Okay. But you were like her, real flirty. All right. Go on with it. I ain't mad at you. Okay, that was 1800. Let's see, where else are you taking me? Mm. Oh, they're taking me back to the 1700s. They said you were crawling and in a way of suffering um, through hardship. And you know what? You had a farm. I don't know why that happened, but you had a farm, but you really, locusts? Get out of here. The locusts ate your crops? I thought that happened in the 19th century. But anyway, they're telling me the locusts ate your crop and almost destroyed you. Yeah, this is why you were crawling. You were trying to not just make ends meet, but keep your farm afloat. Oh boy. Yeah, that was tough, James. That was a tough life. That was a tough life because it looks like you were a good farmer. And I don't know if it was wheat, like flour. I mean, for flour that you were growing, but you were doing real good at the beginning until these disease of insects came through. Mm, so sorry. Okay. Um, okay, now they're taking me to the 1900s. Let's see. Oh, you were a harsh little boy. You were a little boy now, but you were harsh. You said whatever oh, Lord have mercy. You would say whatever on your mind. I see you at the age of 5, and there's some adults talking to you. You hurt their feelings because you tell them just what time it is. You are so plain spoken. I don't know what happened prior, but when you incarnated then to your parents, you had a strong mouth. You just what time it is. They shouldn't ask you, and sometimes people would think you were a little touched because you were so plain spoken, but that's just who you were. You weren't pretense, you weren't a liar, none of that. You just tell it the way it is, the way you saw it in your mind. Ooh, and they're saying when you were a teenager, you didn't have many girlfriends because you let them know too. You let the females know too when you became a teenager. If they were being too forward in their language or in their thinking. And so, you had a couple girlfriends, but not many, because you let them know this is not the way that you talk as a lady or to me as a man. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, James, while you were a male in the early 1900s, you passed away in a car wreck. And it looks like around, you came right back too. It looks like this was around the 1940s, 45, 48 during World War II. But you died in a car accident. And it wasn't your fault, but the impact was so great that you lost your life. But you came right back. You didn't stay over on the other side too long. You're like, I'm back. I'm back. And so you came back. But you came back with knowledge. I have to give it to you, James. When you think about things, even if they come to you and it's kind of weird, like why were you thinking about that or why were you having those thoughts? It's your knowledge from some of your past lives. You know, like you're good at knowing how to deal with women. You are, but that's from your past life. One, because of the work you did, and secondly, the respect that you gain, you know, through your plain spoken mouth. But yeah, so you understand women better than they understand themselves sometimes. But yeah, you came right back. Um, you had that fever pitch to get right back to Earth and learn some more things. That's what the knowledge is. You wanted to learn. You're really open-minded, James, to learning new things and processing it. You know, whether you believe it's right or wrong, but you will listen to it and you will try and process it in your mind. What is the best way to go? Maybe the path or the solution to it. And it could be good or bad. It's not all bad. It could be good. It's just the understanding that you have. Okay. Wow. Okay. That's it for you, James. Well, that was really interesting. Boy, you cracked me up when they showed. Ooh. James, stop. James said, I went from hoeing to mowing. Child, you funny. Oh, Davy. See, thank you, Davy. Now I know. Thank you so much. All right. Well, it looks like that's it. I think that James was the last one. Yeah. Aiden, yeah, you were, James. Well, thank you, everybody. I really appreciate. Oh, I guess so. It's 7:00. Huh? Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you, everybody. I enjoyed. I'm so glad. I know I said tonight I would do questions, but I wanted to be fair because there was a lot of people in the room that I didn't get to, and I didn't get off the air till 7:20. So I just decided, let me do one more day. And it was also suggested by Christina, I call it Christina, and She House Spirits, do one more day. Give the other people a chance. It couldn't, because I had sound problems last night, so I had to do a part 2 show. It's fine tonight. Thank you, God. So anyway, thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate y'all, and I love you for that, for allowing me to do past life readings. That was good. Now, tomorrow night will be the questions, okay? No past life reading tomorrow night. Come in with your questions, and I'll answer your questions tomorrow night for sure. Okay. Thank you, Christy. Thank you, Christina. Thank you, She House Spirit. I love you. We are love, magic, and miracles. We are prosperous in all ways, spiritually, mentally, physically, financial abundance, and of course, above all, love. Why? Because we got the victory. Believe that. Always have, and we always will. Okay. All righty. Well, that's about it. Like I said, I enjoyed. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow night at 6:00 Pacific Daylight Time. Be sure and share the show with your friends, your family, co-workers, associates, frenemies. Tell them come on in. It's a safe place. We have a good time. And also the people in the chat room, they help each other. And I think that is so beautiful. I love the Essence family because, they help me too. Because sometimes I can't think of the words that I want to say and I have to ask for help. So me too. But anyway, thank you so much. Okay, if no one has told you that they love you today, I do. And I appreciate y'all. I'm grateful for you and I thank God for you. Okay. See you tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. Have a wonderful evening.